through a conversation that I overheard Dennis having with a gentleman, is that you actually have some palm trees here as well. And had I known, I would have turned Bollywood into Hollywood, but I had no idea at the time. Anyway, it's an absolute pleasure to be speaking amongst such great fellow speakers and lovely fellows they all are. I have somewhat of an international background. My father was born in India, migrated to Pakistan, moved to London where he met my mother, who's half Czechoslovakian and half Welsh. And they met in London, and the rest is history. But because of that, I believe that I must have been destined to be a Scot, because otherwise there was no other way I was getting here given my background. As Michael told you, I have 4 children ranging from the ages of 17 down to 4. And many people often ask me, you know, how do you cope and when's the right time to have children? And you're nodding at me, I can see a lady in the audience. There's never the right time to have children, ladies and gentlemen. You just have them and you get on with it. And I say that at business events, and I can hear and see HR shoveling in the corner as I tell girls to go off and have ladies rather. I'm extremely passionate about Scotland and the opportunity that Scotland has. And when I won an award last year in London. It was the Asian Women of Achievement Award, and I was the only winner from Scotland. And the event was held at the Mayfair in London. And it was one of those great moments when I said, "This is for Scotland." And to the amazing cheer from the audience, because I feel there's a real support, regardless of what we hear in the press, about us Scots wanting to do things for ourselves and understanding the passion and vision that we have for that. Now, I believe in Scotland and its people, and that independence is the best way forward for ourselves and our families. It's a great honour for me to be on the Yes Advisory Board, and as a result of that, I have a number of extremely interesting speaking opportunities. And towards the end of last year, I had the opportunity of speaking in the House of Commons in a debate about independence. Myself and 250 people who, of course, weren't in favour of independence. The panel was myself, David Mundell, Lord George Foulkes and Jim Wallace. It was an extremely interesting debate, but of course everybody came in there with preconceived ideas. But what I can say they left with is a real respect and appreciation for a vision that the supporters of independence have for their nation. And that for them is extremely refreshing, and it's something that we should hold dear and sing from every political rooftop we can, because vision is what we do have. Now, September 18th, 2014 is 509 days away. And by the time we get there, I believe our public are going to be so educated in a way they never have been before in terms of politics, that they will be ready and willing to govern in an independent Scotland. I concern, as a woman, when I canvass other women and young people, about how many feel so disenfranchised at present. And what I hope will come from the referendum and all of our involvement in it and canvassing is that those people who feel there has been no hope or no opportunity, or that their voice doesn't matter, will realise on that day, September 18th next year, when they go into to cast their vote, that ballot paper will mean so much for generations of people. And that little piece of power, I think, is going to be very important to people, and I hope that they use it wisely and don't regret it the next day. Now, we know Westminster isn't working, and we're reminded of this on a daily basis. And I don't know about you, but I am tired of being told what we can and cannot do. And as a mother, that feels instinctively wrong to me. The ability to craft the constitutional arrangements for our future and ensure we have a fairer society, more reflective of how we feel as citizens of this country, and having a written constitution which enshrines our rights as citizens, I believe, is extremely important. The ability to make choices, our choices for ourselves. Now, Cabinet Secretary, this is going to be of interest to you. My 7-year-old daughter is already feeling the vibe, so to speak. And she feels she can inform the Constitution, and I happened upon this quite by accident. I'm going to pass it to you. She's drafted a few things she would like included in the Constitution. Love farts and all. Things I want if we become an independent Scotland. She spent independent roles, is going to be talking about that. In schools, more fun things for children to play on. Instead of 6 hours at school, 4 to 5, later instead of waking up at 7:30, 9 a.m. Now, the most important thing I take from this is not what she's saying in her plans for herself, quite selfishly, and her school fellows and her country. It's the fact that she feels she can play a part in that process. And I don't think children have ever felt that empowered, and that's something I'm extremely proud of. Now, at the moment, well over 1 million people in our nation want independence for our country. Many, however, from a very specific grouping have yet to make up their minds, and for the future of this nation, we must secure their support. And I'm talking, ladies and gentlemen, about women. I feel very strongly that only in encouraging women to participate in the debate can we truly shape a representative and democratic independent nation which works for all of us. Never has the absence of women's voice been more apparent or important than at this stage in the independence referendum debate. This is the most transformative political decision we will ever make, and most eagerly anticipated for many of us. In terms of the women who are involved in the campaign for Yes, it's been a privilege to have met with them. One of the reasons being that it's inspirational that people can cast aside party loyalties and work together with one vision to create a country that's truly reflective of our values and needs, which are quite unique. And Patrick mentioned Alex Salmond, and perhaps not in the best possible light a few moments ago, but an interesting story when I was speaking at Yes West Lothian a couple of weeks ago. A lady told a story about Billy the Butcher. Now, she went to speak to, but she was a passionate supporter of independence. She went to speak to a local butcher and said, well, what are your views on independence? He says, well, I don't like that Alex Salmond very much. And she said, you know what, Billy? I don't like you very much, but I like what you've got to sell. And that's it. We need to motivate women voters. And we need to build a nation that works for women of today. And I want women to be front and centre in this debate. And I want to play my part in persuading women that not only is an independent Scotland possible, but it's the best and only opportunity we have for getting the best possible deal for our families. We want a country which is welcoming and celebrates diversity and is committed to and understands the value of developing mutually respectful relationships within these islands and internationally. A country, ladies and gentlemen, where access to higher education does not depend upon the wealth of your parents. A country where we value investment in people and investment in society. A country that reaches out to young people who are interested in the dreams of the future, not just the memories of the past. A country where there's provision for the most vulnerable in our society. A country where business can and will flourish, locally and internationally. And a country that is free from the abomination that is nuclear weapons. I believe my 4 children, your children, and your grandchildren, I know you have a number of grandchildren, Michael, will have a better life and enjoy a better future and a more equal society in an independent Scotland, caring for each other and their fellow citizens, because somewhere along the way, Westminster has forgotten how to care about people, and I want to put that right. And being connected to the rest of the United Kingdom and these islands and Europe and the rest of the world at levels where that matters, but with ultimate control over taxation, welfare, foreign policy and the military resting where it should be, here with us. That's the Scotland, ladies and gentlemen, I want my children to grow up in. Please let's work together and make it happen.